It's brilliant to be an although I am probably older than a great many of you all put together, I would say this next week is possibly one of the most important weeks of my life, I think, because it's a week that determines how the rest of our lives may pan out, because there's been a number of wars that have been taking place in recent times that I very much hope are about to come to an end. One of the wars is one in which the government of the last 5 years has had this strategy, which has been everything that has revolved around, has been around this one idea. There's not enough, like we've run out of money in the country. Cameron the other night with his grubby little note that he carries around. We've run out of money in this country. And through the last 5 years, their answer has been this. And so we've got to get the money back. Where have we got to get it back from? The people who've taken all the money. The poor, they're the people who had all the money, they're the ones who stole all the money. Look at them, the poor rubbing around with their gold-plated sleeping bags, sleeping poor. This is the idea. The people who caused the banking crisis that meant that we had no money, you know what they were? Firefighters. That's why we've got to shut down fire stations. They were the people who were speculating on the banks to make millions. Lollipop ladies. Nurses, these people, the bastards, bloody people with a saline drip going off to make £2 million for Morgan Stanley. This is the idea that they've been peddling for the last 5 years. A war on the poor, while meanwhile the rich get even richer despite the fact that they were the people who made the crisis in the first place. And now they've added to that another war in this last couple of weeks, a war that's come from the panic that they aren't getting everything their way, a war on logic. And we're all like, Farage started this, bless him. Nigel Farage, blaming it then on the immigrants. They're the other people who've got the money. Look at them in their sheds, 6 of them living here. Look at this whole idea of immigration in this country that they peddle. But what happens with immigration is that people flee Somalia or somewhere like that. They walk across Africa, they climb in a barrel, float to Spain, travel across Europe on the back of a truck in a crate full of pigs, cling to a hovercraft, come over here, then we're supposed to look after these people who aren't prepared to make an effort. That is the war on logic. He started it, but now there is a war on logic everywhere. There's a war on logic that says that in Scotland they are planning a coup. This was the front page of the newspaper at the Times. The SNP are planning a coup. And you know that a coup, for people who don't know, is when an unelected army comes in and overthrows a dictator. And you know the way they're planning this coup, the SNP? They're going to stand for election and they're going to get more votes than the other people. Military bastards, that's the way they're going to sneak in. And you'd only have to look at Nicola Sturgeon and you can tell she's Idi Amin in a red dress. A war on logic. Last week the Sunday newspaper had a headline which wasn't just them making it up, it was copied from Theresa May, that if Labour and the SNP have more seats than the Conservatives, that will be the worst crisis since the abdication of the King in 1936. Well, so now the Second World War you would think would be in with a shout. No, because the Luftwaffe were mildly annoying, but they're not near as dangerous as Labour and the SNP with their coup. Daily Mail this week. I can only presume this was utter panic that led to this. Nicola Sturgeon unveils new Death Star hospital. Now you would think that unveiling a new hospital, which she was doing in Glasgow, would be something you might be proud of. What an excellent thing, there's going to be a new hospital. But this is an evil thing. We're wrong, it's an evil thing. And you know what it's got? It's got a helipad. This hospital, and you honestly had to read it, thinking she somehow got her own helipad, but it's a helipad for the hospital. Now this is disgraceful because she should be saving money. That helicopter, this is for the air ambulance, it's not for Nicola Sturgeon to come in and out. This is a helipad for the hospital. Presumably the air ambulance should just land in the cardiac or something like that. This is the war on logic that we face. Rent control. Ed Miliband said that he's going to just very mildly, nothing like what is needed, but it's going to stop landlords putting up rents by more than inflation. That's all. So the Conservatives, one after the other, come on the television to say, this will put rents up. That's what this will happen. That's what will happen. You try to put rents down, they'll put them up.
Now that's a magnificent war on logic. I'm going to drop the price of something. Well, that's going to put it up then. But this is the war on logic we face. And it's not just there's a reason for this. There's a reason for it, which is that if they are going to get back in, the Conservatives, they have to appeal to a lot more than the people that they really have been looking after. Because some people haven't had austerity in the last 5 years. The richest 1% in this country have doubled their wealth, doubled it, in these 5 years of austerity. Now they didn't start off poor, these people. They started off rich, the rich, amazingly enough, and they have doubled their wealth in the last 5 years. But that's a problem for the Tories. It's not enough for them to get back in. So they have to appeal to other people. And there aren't enough mean-spirited people enough. There aren't enough mean-spirited people to appeal to. So they have to appeal to the mean-spirited side of people. To the side of people that says, keep your money. Look after yourself. Appeal to the side of people that says, why should I pay for a hospital? I'm not ill. Why should I pay for the fire brigade? I'm not on fire. People are blanking. But it's important, it's one of the most important weeks, I think, of my life for other reasons as well. This is different from other elections. It's not just about Labour and the Tories. Obviously, you know that's why you're here. Because there's something else as well. I think Labour have been dragged to the left. They are to the left of what I would have expected. They have talked about the wealth, the filthy 1% at the top of society. They have talked about the rent, nowhere near enough. They have talked about rent controls, and they are talking about abolishing the bedroom tax. And when they talk about those things, astonishingly, their poll ratings seem to go up. When Ed Miliband a year ago said that it was going to freeze the energy prices, and the Conservatives and the press went berserk, they had to stop going berserk because his poll ratings went up. And I think part of that, an enormous part of that, there's not any question about it, is because the Green Party said the thing that it said. All the things over the last year or two that it has said, that Caroline in particular has expressed. It's popular. This is a problem when you're a Labour Party that's spent the last 30 years saying, for goodness sake, don't say anything that is going to upset the wealthy people. Don't say anything about the neoliberal argument that says that nothing has a right to exist unless it makes a profit. That doesn't go down well. All of a sudden, they don't know what's happening. They look at Scotland and they say, well, don't all vote for the SNP. Can't you see they're unelectable? There's a problem for them because these radical statements that are coming out improve the popularity of the people. So I think what's happening with the Green Party, what's happened nationally with the Green Party, what's happening with Caroline, is to drag the Labour Party into a stance that at least nowhere near what we want, but at least nominally says we are not going to accept this filthy, horrible, rancid, putrid vision of the world that the Conservatives put forward. One that says there is nothing more to hope for than you yourself can look after yourself and bollocks to everybody else. That's the attitude that they want to win this week. And I think at the end of next week, if we have a parliament which is made up of people such as Nicola Sturgeon, Speaker in Scotland, Leanne Wood, Caroline Lucas, as many other hopefully Green MPs in the country as well, along with the end of this rotten, corrupt, rancid government, I think that we're starting to look at a very different world.